Yesterday, we lost an amazing, talented man, Jerry Stiller. And I'd like to do a special tribute of my own to Jerry Stiller, and uh, and to Anne, who I met as well. I've seen clips on television and the great work he did in Seinfeld and in King of Queens. But I had a very special experience with the Stillers that I just need to share. And real quick, I'll start with I was a professional dancer with Kay's Dance Studio. I'm going to embellish just a few seconds. And Miss Marion was my teacher. And at 14, they took me on the road. And I did these tours. There was like seven of us, seven girls. It was, we were a line of girls. And 14 years old. And one of the guys we opened for was Crazy Guggenheim. This is a comedian that was on the Honeymooners. His name is on the show was Crazy Guggenheim, and we opened for him, and we opened for Don Rickles, and one year we opened for Johnny Cash. That was the first year. The second year was Don Rickles and Frank Fontaine. His name was Frank Fontaine. That was me, I guess you could guess. That was me on the left, okay? So when we opened for Johnny Cash, I'm a kid. I'm 14, and it was a big state fair. And after we danced, we did like the opening dance, we did the can-can. I went out in the field, and I couldn't help but notice the fans running to the stage. And I'm looking at Johnny Cash going, this is a popular guy. And I said to my teacher, Miss Marion, I'm like, what's with this Johnny Cash? And she goes, well, last year you would have had an even better time because we opened for Stiller and Mira. I said, that I would have loved because I was a class clown and I always knew I wanted to do comedy. So, and I had watched them as a kid on the Ed Sullivan Show. So I was so upset I missed opening for them. And then 10 years later, I'm going to Circle in the Square and I meet Amy Stiller. We just bonded. I was a year ahead of her. We went to Circle in the Square, which was a professional theater school, like the American Academy of Arts and Juilliard. It was just a 2-year program, and because I lived alone, I got a lot of grants. But me and Amy, I always say it was our hair. We both had big, curly, frizzy hair. And if you have that kind of hair, you know the isolation and the kind of like awkwardness you felt around people. You never felt like you fit in with that hair until we got, Tame and Afro, Sheen, or whatever else came out. But when I saw her, we bonded immediately because we knew we would go to parties, we were kids and with these big hair, static cling, and balloons would start to congregate around our head. And so we became really good friends. And within a year, I'd say, I'll never forget, we were sitting in the diner on 57th Street and Broadway, and we're talking about our acting, our acting dreams. We want to be like Vanessa Redgrave. We were going through all these famous actresses, Jane Fonda, like, oh, we want to be, up there. And she said her parents were actors. I said, wow, I wish my parents. I said, they are actors in their own right. I said, well, what's your parents' names? She goes, Stiller and Mira. Your parents are Stiller and Mira. Kidding me. And so that was just great to know. We stayed friends the whole year of school, and at the end of the year, we did our scenes for our parents and friends, and that's when I met Stiller and Mira. Amazing people, and very supportive. And then Amy and I continued to be friends, and I just started doing my stand-up comedy right out of school. Actually, I was preparing while I was in school. And Amy was out there. She was doing her acting. She was in the hair. She was doing regional theater. I liked musical comedy because I was a comedian. I just wanted, and I was a dancer. So I just knocked over a Yankee Cup. And so Amy was doing all her great acting, and this girl could act. And I didn't even know what she was capable of doing. I didn't know how funny she was, or she could do impressions. She could do a spot on, I mean, spot on Jane Fonda. Talk about Jane Fonda. So I went out to the Hamptons to see her. She invited me, and I met her family, her friends, and Ben Stiller was there. Ben was only 16. Nobody knew who he was. So we're all sitting there, relaxing, and waiting to, go in to see Amy's show. And I'm standing outside with Anne and Jerry, and they were talking to me because we went to school together. And I told them I was a stand-up comic, and their eyes perked up immediately. And Anne, without missing a beat, with her cigarette always in hand, says, Judy, I'm going to call Bud Friedman tomorrow. I'm going to get you an audition at the Improv on Melrose. Can you go to California? Good. I'm going to call him tomorrow and get you this audition. And Jerry's standing there. She's going to do it. Yeah. Okay. Who does that? Who does that? So I got the audition. It went, it was great. It's in 1992. And then Jerry Stiller came to see Amy and I perform because I said, Amy, you got to come with me and you got to do your stand-up. And so she came with me and she started doing her stand-up. And her father came over to us, and talk about, complimentary. It was off the charts. The support was amazing. In this industry, it's really, I'd seen other parents come and see their talented or, funny, kids, but there's something about Jerry's support that you just never forgot. He just came up to me and he was like, thank you. And you're, how amazing, you're funny. And it was, and his daughter was, Amy's one of the most talented women, funny women I know. It was great working with her. We had a blast. So, but these were the kind of people they were. Who does this? Who takes that time? They didn't have to. Another situation with Jerry Stiller and Anne. They were, now if anyone knows New York City, the VHS tapes, when that first came out, that was in 80th and Broadway, the very first VHS store. And there was a kid in there who was a film guy, and I wasn't there at the time, but Amy told me the story, how they walked in, and the kid was like, oh, Stiller Amira, I'm doing a film. Could you be in my film? Yeah, sure. Who does that? They were quite a couple, and quite amazing people. And they also wrote a letter for me. I was a paid regular at the Comedy Store when Mitzi Shore got sick. There were some problems, and they wrote a letter. I'm not going to read the whole letter, but it starts, Dear Mitzi, we are writing on behalf of Judy Chanchado. She has been a friend of our daughter Amy and the family for over 20 years. Amy and Judy went to theater school together at Circle in the Square, and Judy's direction in stand-up also assisted Amy, I put that in getting started with her stand-up comedy. In addition, Judy has been consistently supportive in this area of Amy's work. And then they went on to say other things, but at the end they said, we hope Judy has the opportunity to keep developing and grow as a stand-up performer at the Comedy Store. And we hope that the Comedy Store will support Judy's work. The Stiller family respects her dedication to her craft. We hope you are doing well, Mitzi, and wish you all the good things in life. All good thoughts, Jerry Stiller and Anne Mira. Who does that? Now that Amy asked for, and within a week, this letter appeared in my apartment. And they would send me Christmas cards. I never got to know them really well because I moved to California, but I lived on 81st Street, Amy lived on 82nd, and they lived on 83rd Street, Stiller and Mira. And they are the most amazing people. And the support that Jerry Stiller, when I saw him with Danny Aiello, when Danny Aiello was doing his first comedy show, a comedy club that he opened in Hoboken, Jerry was right there. I think it was the first night they were doing the show. And their kindness and their generosity, there's no other like it. I mean, Jerry was quite amazing, and he was very supportive to his kids, to Ben, and Amy. I think he was Amy's biggest fan, as I am too, and many people. You know, we try to be fans to each other and support each other as best we can. It's not an easy business, and I just wanted to send my deep condolences to Amy and Ben. Jerry was a most amazing man and talent, along with Anne and I had the amazing opportunity to spend the time I did with them, and I'll never forget it. And Jerry, rest in peace. He is one lovable guy and funny man, and I know you're going to be terribly missed. Right now, because of this pandemic, I really didn't time this for this, but they're cheering outside for all the workers and all the people that are on the front lines as we are in this pandemic. And we lost Jerry Stiller yesterday during this pandemic, not because of COVID, as Ben Stiller had stated, but in honor of Jerry. I want to go out and hear them cheer. And Jerry, you've given us so much to cheer about, and thank you so much for your support, even sometimes at a distance, and the times that I got to spend with your family in the clubs. I may not have known you in TV and didn't do films for you, but you treated me like you did. Thank you again. God bless. And my prayers and blessing are to all of you, Amy, Ben, and your family. Thank you. Now let's go hear the cheering.